Hello, everybody. My name is Juliette Combe. I'm working in a business development team at Formlabs. And I'm going to be presenting in English today. I'm sorry, my German is very limited. I'm going to be talking about transforming traditional manufacturing with 3D printing. So I first want to talk about big picture, the future of manufacturing, and how it's a game changer for innovation. Then I'm going to present very shortly Formlabs and the solution for the Industry 4.0, and then talk about the application in hybrid production. So the future of manufacturing is about innovation. So advanced manufacturing is really at the center of digital transformation, as we call it, the fourth industrial revolution. We can see that with the Industry 4.0, we have new smart factory, very connected, with a robot and automation, and a machine are talking to humans now. So as you can see on this picture, it's a smart factories from BMW. And digital advances are changing the way we manufacture things. And the additive manufacturing is at the center of that. It disrupts the traditional way that we design product, that we distribute, and that you produce product. On this graph, you can see, it's actually not really good quality, but you can see this kind of traditional graph of cost per part depending on the volume of production, depending on additive manufacturing for the blue line and traditional manufacturing for the gray line. So there's a lot of different analyst reports showing that the additive manufacturing market is going to grow up to 20 billion by 2020. So it's really the future. It's really a great potential. Now let's see, why is it a game changer? What is it making a game changer for a manufacturer and innovation? So additive manufacturing enables agile manufacturing. Agile manufacturing is basically the capabilities of responding quick to customer needs and market changes. So with additive manufacturing, you can reduce lead time. You can create more iteration. You can do product development with more iteration, and you are more flexible. So it's actually an agent for efficiency. It also reduces tooling and is more sustainable, reducing waste. It also gives the ability to scale production. So on this picture, you can see 3D printing production with multiple printer from Formlabs. So you can really scale up your production needs. And on the right, you can see automated solutions. So now you have a lot of companies coming with automated solution to allow you to really scale up your production needs. So the right picture is one of our products called the Form Cell. So it's an automated cell. And so the thing with additive manufacturing is that it actually allows you to go through prototyping all the way through production on the same platform. So you really have the abilities to go from an ID, concept ID, to the production, to the factory, the smart factories. And Formlabs is actually, like the vision of Formlabs is to create solutions for Industry 4.0. So what are we actually doing at Formlabs? We manufacture powerful, affordable 3D printing system for professional. On the left picture, you can see our core product, the Form 2. It's a desktop SLA printer. Middle picture is the automated Form Cell. So it's an automated solution powered by the Form 2. And on the right picture is our SLS solution, so SLS printer for the benchtop as well. And we have at Formlabs, we have a value proposition that we want to enable a company to innovate fast and to be able to respond with competition and be flexible. And so here's just a sentence, a quote from the Vollers report saying that Formlabs defies the classification that separates industrial system from desktop printer. So by giving desktop 3D printing accessible and affordable in order to be able to innovate fast. Now I want to talk about hybrid production. So hybrid production is combining traditional manufacturing with 3D printing. So we actually think at Formlabs that there's a lot of potential and a lot of possibility offered with combining traditional manufacturing with 3D printing. It really allows to go beyond prototyping, and it multiples possibility for material and for different design and so on. So here are a couple of examples. Mold making with injection molding. So you have here example of 3D printed molds that have been printed with a printer and were used after for desktop 3D printing, for desktop injection molding, sorry. So you can see on those two pictures, they are both customers that were using the 3D printer combined with injection molding. And this really is really a big advantage for companies to be able to do small batch manufacturing. They can iterate the mold, they can remake the design faster, and they can save a lot of time. Another example is Tamper Forming. So it's also mold making. You have here just an example of one of our prints. It's basically printed dies for Tamper Forming on a sheet of polycarbonate, and this allows vacuum-formed part for small batch production as well. So it's also very interesting for small batch production. Investment casting. It's also a very popular technique. It's actually very popular in a lot of industries. At Formlabs, we see a lot of customers using it in jewelries. So here is an example of the cast that we do at Formlabs. We have a special castable resin for that. And it really allows you to try multiple materials. So having, after the cast, you can have any kind of metal. And in this way, you really have a hybrid production. And again, mold making, we also have a lot of customers using a vulcanization process. So again, in jewelry, this is quite popular. And also sand casting on picture on the right. So this is really all kind of mold making methods that allows you to do small batch production. Finally, jigs and fixture is a really big case for hybrid production. So we have a lot of customers using our printer and our tough resin, the one that are very resistant, to actually insert them in traditional machinery. So in the picture that you can see here, I actually want to show a video about that. Yeah. So it's one of our customers using it in the assembly line in their production facility. So the blue part of the 3D printing print. So here we can really see how it's basically used as jigs and fixture in the assembly line in a big manufacturing factory that is used for the automotive industry. So it's one of our customers using that. I will come back a bit later on this case. It's a very interesting case, actually. I will maybe tell you a bit more later. So now, how is manufacturing becoming digital? So I want to give you a bit more the main application in manufacturing for 3D printing. there are a lot of applications in 3D printing. You have product development and manufacturing. You have a lot in jewelry, a lot in dentistry, in healthcare, education and research. And for manufacturing, it's interesting because it started first more for prototyping. Obviously, 3D printing is well known for prototyping and for model making. And now it's really getting interesting for production. So it was jigs and fixture, as I was saying, for small batch production coupled with traditional manufacturing, and for mass customization. So mass customization is really the future, the vision of 3D printing later. So prototyping and production and product development is it's obviously kind of the case that we all know. It allows to do concept exploration, rapid prototyping and mock-up, pre-production. Jigs and fixture, so it's the case I was just showing you. So it's one of our customer, an Austrian customer, Pinkel Racing System. They are producing, they need to produce custom jigs, and they need to produce a very high number of custom jigs. So about 1,200 jigs for every production runs. And every jigs is custom. And they're using a printer, and with that, they actually reduce 90% of lead time and 80 to 90% of cost. So they actually save more than 150,000 in 6 months or so. And obviously, the part can withstand a lot of stress because it's insert in the manufacturing line. So as you saw in the video before, it's really in the assembly line. So I think this is really a great example how you can mix 3D printed parts with traditional heavy machinery. Finally, small batch production. So it's also definitely an interesting point. I was telling you about how you can do small batch production with traditional manufacturing like injection molding and Tamper Forming and so on. And finally, mass customization is probably the most, let's say, interesting case that really is the future. So mass customization is really the future in manufacturing, in 3D printing, sorry. And we can see so many use cases emerging. We're already, the dentistry market is already getting completely digitalized. You have obviously a lot of footwear company working on a 3D printing shoe. In the audiology market, you have also a very big market. In eyewear is actually quite promising as well. A lot of use case, a lot of companies are doing customized eyewear, and so on. So basically, we could customize the whole body. So this is what is really kind of very interesting and long-term vision for 3D printing. Also, mass customization is actually probably the way that we're going to do high-volume production with 3D printing. So here's like a last use case I wanted to talk about, where we printed 700 pens for a conference with 7 printers in 20 hours. So every pen was completely customized for every customer that was there. So it's really, we're going more toward high-volume production with mass customization. Yeah. Thank you very much.